What's up, everybody? This is Daniel Courtwright here with Kansas Nation, Rock Chalk Sports on Kansas Nation. This is immediately after Kansas takes down TCU 78-73 in a really tough game, but Kansas able to get it done. It's been a late night, I know. Brian, thanks for sticking around. I'm here with the voice of the Jayhawks, Brian Hanni. Right after the game, I want to get your initial thoughts on this game. Now, Marco Jackson was just incredible in this one. Darren Peterson coming up big too, but some good stuff coming from the bench, good stuff coming from the big man. Obviously, Flory finishes with another double-double. Your initial thoughts after this?
Flory was amazing. I know the stats don't jump off the page in terms of 13 and 10, 3 blocks. Might seem like a run-of-the-mill 12th double-double of the season, but if you kept track of the runs that this game included, and when Flory was on the floor and KU would go on an 8-0, he steps off the floor, they give up a 10-3 run. Back and forth we go. He finished plus 31 in the plus-minus,
pretty good.
And his primary replacement when he went to the bench was minus 16. KU trailed in this game with still 5 or 6 minutes to go, and at that juncture he was plus 30. To be trailing or tied and have a singular player be plus 30 late in the game is almost unheard of.
Yeah.
That's how much he impacted this game. I know the stats might not jump off the page with 13 and 10, but the way Kansas was clicking and the Hawks were cooking, to quote the great Bob Davis, when he was out there versus what happened without his presence, night and day. So we can talk about DP and Marco getting to the line and hitting 23 of 26 free throws, and we can talk about Kansas as a team getting there 37 times and what a key that was. There's a lot of things we can point to, but Flory Bidunga won this game for Kansas, and when he was not on the floor, it was a completely different looking team.
Yeah, 100%. Can't do it without Flory, right? And obviously they had a really tough front court coming into this. We knew this. Last time David Punch came out in Kansas, and man, he was just an absolute rock star. And Bryson Tiller, we saw him be more aggressive. Bill Self said he wants him to be more physical. He didn't think he was as physical, but comparatively to where he was at the beginning of the year, I think he's just been incredible. And I wanted to talk about another guy too, Trey White. I mean, he hits a monster three in the corner to take the lead for Kansas. It was tied up 61-61. Talk about the growth you've seen from him, because I mean, in all honesty, we saw kind of a stretch of bad games there, kind of in the middle of conference play, and then we've seen him on an upward tick.
It's what cost him any kind of postseason consideration, and it's unfortunate because he was snubbed. He still should have been.
Yeah. Can you name 33 players in the Big 12 that are better than Trey White?
No, of course not. But there was a 2-week stretch where he really struggled, and for whatever reason, that cost him. But tonight was not a great night for him for much of the game, and yet when the game was tilting, who's going to take that next big lead, who's going to grab the momentum and run with it, he hits the corner pocket three, and it was set up by Melvin Council, penetrating so quickly. He can go from 0 to 90 in 2.5 seconds, and he gets the ball into Trey's hands in that corner, which is his money spot.
Yeah.
He loves those corner pocket threes. And for him to have the confidence to take and make that when he'd opened 2 of 7, and his only finishes that went in prior to that were rim finishes, says a lot about his self-confidence in that stroke and Kansas's confidence in Trey to find the open man and have him keep firing. That was a huge play. In fact, that was our Jayhawk Network play of the game until Bill Self said that DP's shot with 41 seconds to go, the mid-range jumper that on my call I said was Jordan-esque because it kind of looked like Jordan over Brian Russell versus Utah back in the day. Bill said that was the best jump shot made of anybody tonight, so that ended up getting the pick. But great to see all those guys turn in the performances they did. Great to see a guy like Trey fight through some adversity there. And, I thought Kansas had several moments where this game was swinging the other direction, and they stepped up, got some stops, found a way to force TCU to play bad. And I know that sounds elementary, and Bill said it 1,000 times if he said it once, but think about it. This game's on the line. It's a 5-point margin with 3 minutes to go, and KU forces 4 consecutive TCU turnovers.
Yeah, huge.
Some of those TCU probably shot themselves in the foot, but the turned-up nature with which KU was playing defensively, that's what Bill Self's been driving home. And he said it afterwards, he wasn't super thrilled. He said this was just kind of a play-not-to-lose kind of game. But at game point, in crunch time, we saw Kansas's poise and composure. We saw the Jayhawks hitting free throws to ice it. And one of the best free throw shooting teams in the Bill Self era, 78% on the season. They wind up shooting 81% here tonight, 30 of 37. That dog will hunt in the postseason. And getting Darren Peterson to draw 11 fouls, now that's a way you can play through your star in these tight games when shots aren't easy to come by. Get to the line. with an 82% foul shooter, and that's what we saw Kansas do.
Yeah, 100%. Voice of the Jayhawks, Brian Hanni, joins me right after Kansas takes down TCU 78-73. And Brian, quick turnaround once again. You got Houston coming up tomorrow, a tough physical team. Kansas saw them already in Allen Fieldhouse. They wind up beating them. You got to think there's going to be a chip on their shoulder. We knew there was a chip on TCU's shoulder as well, but Houston a little bit better of a team. They're also looking to kind of maintain on that 3 spot in the NCAA tournament, obviously, and hopefully win the Big 12 tournament. But Kansas faces off against them for the second time this year. Give us a preview of that, and you know, kind of, you've been around this for quite a while, right? A lot of these guys have as well, but for a lot of these guys, this is their first Big 12 tournament. This is the first time they're seeing this kind of turnaround of you know, back-to-back games against really, really tough opponents. I
mean, this will feel like a Final Four, and that's not hyperbole. I mean, literally, if you want to talk AP ranking, the Big 12 semis is number 2, number 5, number 7, and number 14.
It's pretty good.
I mean, if we're lucky enough to get that in Indianapolis, that would be a dream Final Four to get teams that good. I mean, depending on how the seeding shakes out these next 48 hours, that could be a 1 seed, potentially 2 twos, the way Iowa State has looked, and Kansas is a potential 3 or 4 seed. It's been amazing. By the way, if Kansas were to win 2 games, they could play even higher. Bill Self thinks they could climb 2 seed lines if they were to win the whole Big 12 tournament, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Point is, those 4 teams on a Big 12 Friday night, that's as good as you can hope for. So no surprise with the stakes this high and the matchups this good that Commissioner Yormark electing to fix the floor. And that's why we're taping this, by the way, in here in the media room. They're literally pulling the LED glass tiles off the floor as we speak. That's not what you asked about. But my point is, the stakes are high. The teams are great. This is awesome. And Kansas obviously got Houston in the first meeting. I just got done taping pregame with El Marco. Yes, sometimes we tape those the night before. And we said, hey, drawing 37 free throws, trips to the free throw line tonight, probably ain't going to happen against Houston. They're too sound defensively. But the mindset is still the same. Attack, attack, attack. Be aggressive. Force them to foul you. If you can get the ball downhill and get the ball in the paint and up on the rim. You know, we've seen Kansas really struggle against Kelvin Sampson defensive teams, but this club isn't quite as good as some of their best defensive teams on that end of the floor. They're still a damn good team, though. And if Sharp is hitting, who Kansas has done a good job against at times, they're a much different team. Obviously, Kingston Fleming's outstanding talent, looks like a top 10 pick in the draft. What can they do to keep him in the mid-range where he's so deadly with his crossover step backs, his ability to get the ball up on the rim with driving, running floaters? What can they do to try to slow him? Tugler's a beast inside. They got so many weapons. Uzan, who started his career at Oklahoma, has really grown into one of the more steady hands at the wheel in terms of Big 12 point guards. I like their team a lot, but we should have confidence against them. No, this is not Allen Fieldhouse where we beat them last time, but we're going to have the home court advantage. We're going to have confidence on film of what we did to win last time. And hopefully this team, although they got to sleep double time tonight and get after it early tomorrow, in terms of putting the scouting report together and all that, they'll do that during a walkthrough around 10:30 or 11 a.m., and then they'll have a practice elsewhere. They should do so with confidence and expectancy that we are Kansas. We are 51-15 in this event. We have twice as many almost conference tournament titles than the next school on the list. This is our second house, Allen Fieldhouse East. Let's get after it tomorrow, or if you're watching this on Friday, today, in a heavyweight bout. That's what Bill Self called it. That's not Brian Hanni hyperbole. He said this will be a heavyweight Friday night. We get it. 2 versus, 7 in the undercard. I say undercard. That's really the heavyweight bout. And then the nightcap, 5 versus 14. I can't wait. I'm going to go prep right now and have some fun tomorrow.
Man, it's going to be a lot of fun, Brian. Well, before I let you go and get some sleep, because I need some too, give me just one key to the game for Kansas to take it home tomorrow against Houston. I guess today, technically, if you're watching this today.
A couple players, when I asked that question, said transition defense. Obviously, they can get from baseline to baseline as fast as we can. Kingston Flemings, as I said, off the dribble is so dynamic. And so anytime you play Houston, it's about toughness, which is a Bill Self staple, just as much as it's a Kelvin Sampson staple. It's about rebounding. I did not like all the second chance opportunities that TCU had on Thursday night. Those are huge. But our guys also really were harping on transition defense. So I'll give you 3 keys. But matching their defensive tenacity with some of our own. I mean, Bill Self said it on Hawk Talk on Monday when I said, outside of 3 wins this week in Kansas City, what do you most want to see out of your team in your final tune-up before the madness of March? And he said, and I quote, I want to see him get after somebody's ass this week.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't for all of Thursday, but there were stretches where we did, and stretches where the game turned, where they got after him. He needs to see that throughout on Friday night to get a win. Be good on the defensive glass, get back on transition D, and let's give Houston a taste of their own medicine with some defensive-minded toughness all Friday night in this heavyweight bout.
Sounds good to me, Brian. Get some sleep, man.
Man.
Got a quick turnaround for tomorrow. Have a great call tomorrow, by the way. And
Yeah.
thanks for joining me.
Thanks for joining me, or giving me the chance to join you, I should say. And thanks to our friends Nate Miller at the Miller Retirement Group for sponsoring these reports all season long. Check them out at millerretirementgroup.com.
Check out Miller Retirement Group. Hey, more Rock Chalk Sports coming up after this on KansasNation.com and ESPN Kansas City.